Hello everyone, and welcome to this first video in an introductory series that has been designed to help educate, inspire, and empower you to live to your true potential in your life. And in this video series, we're going to answer many of the questions that we've received over the years of breathARMY with the intention to really help to support you on your path as you enter into this world of breath. Maybe you're new to this world, maybe you've been here for a while. Wherever you're at in your journey, I think you'll find something helpful for you here in this video series. And so in this video, we are going to talk a little bit about the difference between breathwork, pranayama, functional breathing, all of these different terms that we hear thrown around in the breathwork world that can be really confusing as we go through our healing journey. And my own journey with these tools started about 15 years ago. And at that point, I actually started with the practice of yoga. And in that yoga practice, I very quickly started to identify that I had really dysfunctional breathing habits. And as I started to transform those dysfunctional patterns, that started to create a huge impact in the way that I felt, both within my body and my mind. And so when I think about breath, I think about the physiological process that is going on in our body about 20 to 25,000 times a day. And the interesting thing is that we breathe and have been breathing our entire life, and we breathe these 20 to 25,000 breaths per day. And yet very few people have really thought about their breath, whether they're breathing appropriately, and whether that breath is supporting them in their lives and helping to take them towards their goals. And so as we start to understand a little bit more about breath and start to observe our breath and bring more awareness to these patterns, then we can start to learn about functional breathing. And functional breathing, to me, is trying to understand this physiological process on a deeper level and learn just a little bit about the different aspects of breathing. So like the mechanics of breathing, the chemistry of breathing, the actual processes of breathing, and what those would look like in a way that supported you in your life, supported you in your health, and supported you in achieving your goals in your life, whatever those might be. And so those are many of the different topics and themes that we dive into in the various courses that we offer, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in some of the other videos as well. So when I started on my path with yoga all those years ago, I started as well with this practice of pranayama and also with meditation. And so pranayama is a process or a practice that has been around for a really long time. Truth is, we don't know exactly how long that it's been around. What we do know is that it's been around for at least thousands of years. And so over those thousands of years, this practice has been refined. And really it's one of the pillars in the yogic path, which is really all about self-realization. And so these different breathing practices that we know as pranayama and that you'll find as part of this practice of yoga are different practices that have been refined over all of these years, and they affect the body and the mind and the consciousness in particular ways that help us on that path towards self-realization. And so you'll find these, not surprisingly, in many yoga classes, and here in the West we'll often encounter these different practices, things like Kapalabhati, Bhastrika breath, alternate nostril breathing, and there's many, many thousands more. And they come from different lineages of yoga, so different lineages like Kundalini yoga have different pranayama practices. Hatha yoga has its own pranayama practices. And many of these different tools can really be beneficial in creating different states within our nervous system. And again, supporting us on that path of self-realization, which is yoga. Now, breath work is a newer modality that really came about as a result of the different practices that people like Stanislav Grof, Leonard and Sandra Orr started to practice and bring into the world in the 1950s and 60s. And so they started these different practices of holotropic breathwork and rebirthing breathing. Holotropic breathwork was a practice that Stanislav Grof started to use in his own practice to help people deal with their trauma. And apparently Leonard Orr was transmitted this practice from his yogic master. And these different yogic or breathwork techniques have been refined over the years and have been adapted and transformed and transmuted into many different lineages of conscious connected breathing. But I would consider breathwork to encompass not only these conscious connected breathing techniques like holotropic breathing or rebirthing or transformational breath, all of these different tools that you might see out in the world. But to me, breathwork is any kind of conscious manipulation of the breath that will have a specific and desired effect within the nervous system. The interesting thing about breathwork is it's a very personal, experiential practice. And because we're all a little bit different, and because our nervous systems are different, and because we've all had different past experiences, we have to go through our own journey of practicing these different techniques and seeing what are the different effects in our own bodies. And once we start to understand those different effects, then I kind of think about breath work and all the tools that come along with it, kind of like this toolbox approach, where we start to understand which techniques to use at which times for which reasons that work in a particular way in our body. And so it's this beautiful journey that we get to go on, this path of direct experience and personal discovery. And it's a journey that I'm excited to be here with you on. And in these different videos that we are going to discuss over this video series, we'll go into different aspects of breath work. We'll talk about some of the other tools that we use here at breathARMY. And we'd love to know more about your own experience, what your experience has been with breath and breath work and functional breathing and pranayama. And please share those in the comments below. Reach out if you have any questions at all. We'd love to start this conversation and help you on your path, learn a little bit more about your own experience. And of course, if you're interested in diving deeper into these topics, then we dive much deeper in the many different courses that we offer. Of course, we've got the Breathwork Blueprint, and that course discusses all of these different themes and topics of breath and breath work and pranayama, conscious connected breathing, along with different somatic tools that can really help you to create freedom in your body and your life through nervous system regulation and harness this incredible power of the breath. So thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel so that you get notifications when the next video in this series comes out here soon. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye for now.